You know, in speeches, radio, television, I've been going on for years about the fact that we are living in a period of historic change. And I still say, despite Brexit, the election of a political outsider like Donald Trump, the collapse of Venezuela, the advent of 3D printing or self-driving vehicles, we got a demographic shift that has more people over the age of 65 than under 15 in Canada. I say we're still in the early innings of a change, and I don't think you'll believe it when it's done.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to say to you, very simply, is this event was going to happen. We didn't know when it was going to happen, but it was going to happen. The United States, or the Western economies, could no longer sustain themselves with globalization, and something was going to have to break. As Mr. Truffin, Professor Truffin, gave testimony in 1961, eventually, to the Senate, eventually the United States is going to have America First policies now. That was when I was born, the year that I was born. He says that. Now it's 2016. This is not a minor change, ladies and gentlemen. There is no going back. This is America First. My biggest fear is coming back home to Canada and seeing the cabinet that Mr. Trump has put together and seeing who's negotiating free trade and NAFTA with the United States. These guys, he's got hunter-killers. We're in big trouble here. This is serious, and I mean it. Now, can you make money off it? Darn tootin'.
With virtually the entire range of commodities still in uptrends, I'll restate my historic prediction from our big 2017 annual forecast issue that I don't expect anyone in this room to believe. Next chart, please, of the quote from Barron's. As we added, anyone to believe, and because of that skepticism, I'm going to share a previous quote from Barron's from the Dow Jones Company that my prediction on gold's rally when it was $35, when the American government swore it would never be allowed to rise, I nonetheless dared to predict that it would not only rise, but it would approximate the price of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which nonetheless came true. And Barron's acknowledged it as, quote, the most fantastic prediction in stock market history, end quote. I don't have time to read it, but you can read it yourself. The reason I mentioned that successful call, as daring as it was, is because I hope you will not entirely disregard my next prediction on silver. I'll now quote a part of it for those who have not yet seen my 2017 annual forecast issue. And here it is. Listen carefully. Silver at $17 an ounce looks like the single most underpriced metal on the planet. I predict that silver will go above the price of gold, and also that will be the time to sell both, end quote.
I wouldn't really hold any government debt. I mean, the United States will be the last to go. I mean, the problem you're going to see is going to really start in Europe. And as the euro begins to break apart, their debt will be in a crisis. And then you'll see it more in Japan, and then eventually it's going to come here.
Let me ask about interest rates while we're talking about bonds here, the bond market. So we've got Janet Yellen talking about raising rates a few times this coming year, that we saw at least a temporary low in interest rates in July. Does your model give you indication yet whether that's sort of the low, or has the bull market in bonds ended at this point, or you need more data first?
No, the bull market's done. I mean, it's going to start to really crash, but you're going to see more overseas than the United States. But the trend has shifted. That's it. The bond bubble is over with. And what you have to understand about the Fed is that they're going to be under a lot of pressure to raise rates as the stock market continues to push higher. They're going to call it, you can see what the press is going to do. They're effectively going to say that they are, this is the Trump rally, he's making all his buddies rich. And then you're going to have people out there chastising the Fed, saying, see, it's your fault, you've kept interest rates too low. So as the market goes up, they will try to chase, to stop the speculation with raising interest rates. And then because we're in a global situation, the higher you raise the interest rates, the more capital will be attracted over here. So it's just, they can't win. This is a global situation, and we're trying to run our governments independently from, being connected to the entire world. And it's just not